All right, YouTube, it's time to talk about Trump's RNC acceptance speech, of course, from last night that everyone's talking about, and there still are, even after last night. Not a surprise. It was a very good speech, extremely effective, and did everything that he needed to do. And he did several important things during this speech. He congratulated people for applauding a gay man, which is a huge swing in the Republican Party. Acceptance of people being homosexual, I think, has come to the forefront. I think that it disarms the Democrats of one of their main sort of issues, especially with regards to the youth vote. So Trump is leading the Republican Party away from that as a moral wedge issue. It's smart of him to do this. Romney kind of sort of did and didn't want to talk about it. McCain, of course, was on board with the traditional marriage stuff. It's an outdated, dying, basically already dead issue. Supreme Court's ruled on it. Get the fuck over it. You're going to keep losing elections if you keep ranting about it. Might help you in the Bible Belt. Outside of that, in all the swing states that are up in the Rust Belt, nobody gives a damn. Nobody fucking cares if Joe and Steve get married. Nobody cares if Linda and Sarah scissor one another. Nobody gives a fuck. So get the fuck over the issue, and that's what Trump's telling the Republican Party. It's very smart to do that. Secondly, he delivered yet another linguistic kill shot, as Scott Adams would put it, to Hillary Clinton. What did he do? We all remember the Trump loyalty pledge days of the primaries. I think it was shortly after Super Tuesday, when he got in a little bit of hot water, even with some Republican pundits, for asking people to raise their hands and swear to vote for him in their various primaries. He held rallies in various states and did this. And the Democrats, of course, said, well, this is like Nazi style and it's weird. And the Republicans are like, oh, this is at least a little bit unnecessary, let's face it. What he did, though, at the acceptance speech was say, oh, Hillary wants her fans to recite a loyalty pledge, subconsciously linking that debacle with Hillary in their minds. It'll work, trust me. You may not, you want to think rationally, it's not going to quite work. You'll link the two subconsciously, unless you know what to look for. 99% of the population is completely clueless. It'll work. Links Hillary with it, and he says, oh, well, I've got a, and the pledge is 3 words, I'm with her. But I follow a different pledge, or I like a different pledge. I'm with you, I will defend you, I will fight for you. Sort of putting himself up there as a champion of the people. Now, Hillary, you look at her fans and the way the media acts, and it is admittedly a lot of stand with her, we must defeat the Republicans, so we must stand behind our glorious leader. Trump is doing the exact opposite and saying, I am going to be your servant, your slave. Now, that is the traditional proper role of the American government. The government is not supposed to be your master. It's supposed to be the reverse. Now, do I think that Trump in office is actually going to be some great heroic people's champion? To a lesser extent than many of his ardent fans probably believe. I will say that. Yes, much of his speech was empty promises. That's any political speech. Every time Hillary promises, she promises, oh, I'll get rid of Citizens United. No, she won't. She benefits from Citizens United. She benefits directly from it. She would have lost against Sanders if not for Citizens United. She's not going to fucking overturn it. It's never going to happen. Oh, we will forgive all student loans. No, she won't. She doesn't give a fuck if some middle-class family is wallowing in debt. She's not in the middle class. She's never been in the middle class. Certainly never been in the lower class. The closest she's come to living a normal existence is being a lower-level sort of trust fund baby. Instead of a silver spoon in her mouth, it wasn't quite pure silver. It was just silver-plated, but that doesn't make any difference. Trump did get raised by somebody who did honestly work his way up and was sort of a working class developer. Yes, he was still wealthy, but compared to the people in Manhattan, of course not. Trump didn't magically stumble upon billions of dollars, I'll tell you that. So his new kill shot against Hillary is probably the most effective he's used during the campaign. He did this with Ted Cruz, and this is why Ted Cruz is so butthurt. He holds the Bible up high and he lies. Now what does this subconsciously link in a person's mind? Oh, Ted Cruz is just pretending to be religious. Heard him with evangelical voters. What about Marco? Little Marco. Oh, he's weak. He's little. He doesn't know. He's out of his league. He doesn't know what he's doing. And it worked. Jeb is establishment, and he's low energy. And he also kind of looks autistic. He didn't say that. I'm saying that, but it's true anyway. Which is true. He did seem like he was rather low energy. He was just sitting there sucking up the campaign donations, appearing at the debates and kind of stammering through them. This is kind of the MO of the Bushes. It worked a decade ago. It won't work now. Trump has taken the Republican Party in a new direction. Now, some people see it as a more threatening one. They say, oh, populism, populism. I disagree. Even if I can't really bring myself to vote for someone who thinks Mike Pence is a good running mate, and I don't expect that to hurt him in the general, by the way, I still expect him to win fairly handily, especially after the debates, especially since he's already even in the polls with Clinton, which I didn't expect until at least the first debate. Even if I can't do that, I can at least appreciate that the Republican Party is being led by Trump, as opposed to somebody like Romney, as opposed to a neoconservative who really just is a Democrat light anyway. They're exactly the same thing, except they don't support increased gun control. That's really the only difference when you really think about it. What other fucking issues do they disagree on? Romney pretends to care about gay marriage. He pretends to care about stopping abortion. Have they ever done these things? No. They're never going to do them. It's not going to happen in a million years. You can get off your moral high horse. I get ranted to, by the way, sometimes by people who are a little bit too far right for my taste. Oh, if you stand for gay equality, you're fucking cocked degenerate. I don't give a fuck about these things. It's a lost cause. It's a lost issue. It's already been weighed in on. Get the fuck over it and look at the issues that actually matter. Right now, people want jobs, and they're really getting tired of people like Obama constantly attacking his own country, verbally, and constantly attacking it physically by letting in unvetted immigrants from the Middle East. That's what people are concerned about right now. Now, Hillary doesn't have a plan other than stay the course. Oh, Obama's done a great job. We need more third world immigrants that we can't really care for, that will refuse to assimilate because they're religious zealots. That's her idea. Well, I'm sorry, but I disagree with that. I think that's a terrible idea, and I think that a growing majority of Americans agree with that. Now, Trump's acceptance speech was far more highly rated than even I expected. I expected it to break down along partisan lines. Turns out that's not the case. Looks like every independent in the country liked it as well. That's a huge advantage. You think Hillary's going to be able to give a speech half that good? Half the time, she can barely speak at all. She coughs and stammers her way through it. She's not the most coherent Democratic candidate ever. It doesn't hurt Trump that his opponent was investigated by the FBI, or can't apparently make a tweet herself or send an email in any level of confidence. It doesn't hurt him that Hillary's campaign team is also inept, tries to make funny memes, falls absolutely flat, and really just hands more ammo to the Trump camp. Look at the Pokemon Go debacle. I mean, what Hillary's doing is completely cringeworthy. Oh, here's some emojis. I'm just like a teenager. You half expect her. Next time she makes a speech, she's going to have a baseball cap on backwards, and she's going to come skateboarding out on the stage or something. That's what we've grown to expect from this vile old wicked witch look-alike. And that's probably what she's going to end up degenerating into doing. She's going to have no choice. She's desperate right now. Why do you think she won't talk to the media? Do you think for a moment that she wants to explain to the media outside of a captive interview where she's already pre-agreed to every question that will be asked and she can cut and edit it however she wants? Do you honestly think she wants to answer the following question? You've categorized your opponent as a vile lunatic, a possible Nazi, a bigot, and just a general horrible, degenerated human being who doesn't know what he's doing, has no experience, and will probably cause World War III. So how do you explain the fact that you're about even with him? Because she can't answer the question. The answer is the average American sees Trump, yeah, maybe as a chucklehead, maybe as a little bit out there, but they don't see him as corrupt as Hillary or as untrustworthy. They certainly don't see him as having so much of a checkered past filled with scandal-ridden baggage as Hillary Clinton. And she's boring. She is the most boring person I have ever seen run for the office. Mitt Romney a close second, which is another reason why he lost. It's not that his views were that terrible. Most of what he said was the same as what Obama was saying. But people decided to stay the course because at least Obama's capable of occasionally giving a good speech. I haven't seen one from Hillary. Half the time it looks like she's giving a speech in a broom closet. There's like 10 people there. She doesn't draw the crowds. Bernie Sanders did. And the Democratic Party would have been real wise to nominate Bernie Sanders. He could have actually won. I wouldn't have supported him. At that point, I definitely would have voted for Trump. I wouldn't care if my vote was a wasted vote. I'd have to stand on principle against socialism. But Hillary Clinton is not Bernie Sanders. Yeah, she's a couple years younger, but she's a hell of a lot more boring. She's a hell of a lot less trustworthy. I saw the other day, Being Liberal trotted out some PolitiFact sheet. Now, PolitiFact is generally good, but they lie by omission. That is, they will deliberately fact-check statements that they know to be more or less false by people they don't like, and ignore statements that they've made that are true in order to make it look like they're more of a chronic and compulsive liar. They do the reverse for people like Obama and Clinton, that they clearly like, by not fact-checking obviously wrong statements that they make, and only fact-checking mostly the nice ones. So it's a lie by omission. They trot out the PolitiFact sheet here. And this shows you which Republican they were rooting for. Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton are about even on their lie-o-meter. Now just imagine that. Clinton, here's her new campaign slogan. About as honest as Jeb Bush. How's that one for you? How do you think that will work in her campaign? Well, that's certainly what I pointed out, because that's exactly what the fact sheet appeared to show. Now, I don't trust that as far as I can throw it, which isn't very far, because it's just a bunch of zeros and ones floating around in cyberspace. But at the same time, if I did take it seriously, I would still find that astonishingly amusing. So I think that Trump has sealed the deal. There's not going to be any more real derision among the Republicans. What the Bushes do doesn't matter. What Mitt Romney does doesn't matter. What Ted Cruz does doesn't matter. The party is leaving that sort of person behind. The neocons and the Ted Cruz sort of quasi-evangelical, they're being left behind by the party. The party has decided to progress into the 21st century, leaving behind people who think that we should be living essentially in the Stone Age. The Democratic Party, on the other hand, hasn't successfully done this. Another reason for Hillary's massive disadvantage. Democratic Party. You have a reformist candidate who wants to take it ahead into outright socialism, gets beaten down by the establishment corporate candidate again. Only because of Citizens United. Because if it weren't for the super PACs, Hillary Clinton would have lost handily. And a Jewish socialist would be the Democratic candidate. It'd be really funny for, like, surviving Democrats are the Klan era people. Would have been very, very funny for them to see. That's about all. Peace out.